Right now, investigators are questioning the victim's husband. They're not calling him a suspect, but they say that they don't have anyone else they're actively pursuing. A quiet off-season night at the quaint Park Regency took a sudden turn early Thursday morning.
The victim was still in bed. We are treating it as a potential homicide.
Police say the woman was a 29-year-old out-of-towner vacationing in Park City with her husband.
Peace for the families that are involved.
Marilyn Farmer was staying with loved ones on the second floor when they heard some unusual commotion.
We just heard people above us like they were moving furniture, chairs, and quite late into the night. I mean, we went to bed about 12, and we just wondered what was going on above us.
She soon learned from police later that morning there was a body in the room just one floor above.
That does make us a little nervous to think of that and feel sad about it.
Police are still trying to piece together what exactly happened, but say the main scene was contained to just the hotel room.
There's no evidence at this time that would suggest that there was forced entry.
As you can see out here, there is a trail of what appears to be blood leading in the parking lot of this hotel. Police aren't telling us for certain if it is connected to the case. They say that they have taken samples and will have more information once that case.
911, where's the address of your emergency?
And I was calling because my daughter came to to a party here last night, a gathering with her friends. Now her friends, they say that they left on the front of the hotel and she's not able to be found now.
Give her a couple hours. She could have went somewhere with one of her other friends.
The mom went to the front desk asking, will you please look at the videos from the very beginning? We got nothing but resistance from the Crown Plaza Hotel.
The inference today that had Kanika been held or the security cameras checked sooner, she might be alive.
They never looked for her. They never did anything while a young 19-year-old disoriented girl is sitting in their freezer.
We begging for help and no one helps.
Subject in the kitchen in a freezer. She is frozen solid.
"32 hours in the cover of Justice for Jordan." That's the ROTC voice y'all listening to. So I know how to sound off. I hope every individual in every last room from the first floor to the ninth hear me. Justice for Jordan. Let me step on over here so y'all can hear what I'm saying. Wow. A disgrace to communities across the United States of America. Brother, I would not spend your money here. Jordan Bilbo was found dead in the stairwell. The 9th floor to the 5th floor. Missing for 32 hours in this hotel. No form of respect for humanity from the management of Crown Plaza Hotel. Say that again one more time for me, brother. Can you say what you getting? Can you say that one more time? What you getting?
A refund.
He's getting a refund. He's getting a refund. Do not spend your dollars here.
That convicted sex offender found 110 miles to the north in San Francisco, now described as a killer by Salinas police.
We love you, Chantal, and we are going to get justice.
A family heartbroken but glad to hear the accused killer of 30-year-old Chantal Llamas has been arrested. 51-year-old Richard Simmons arrested Thursday in the Ocean Beach area of San Francisco, charged with suffocating to death llamas at this Kern Street Motel 6.
I think it could have been prevented. I think that, unfortunately,
by arresting him now, who knows? They may have prevented more murders. Another family going through this. They may have taken a serial killer off the street.
Family members don't know why the Seaside woman was at the Salinas Motel, but when police did a welfare check last month, she was dead. Simmons was a suspect in Llamas' death early on.
We know that he was one of the last people to be with her prior to her being discovered deceased.
Police say both knew each other, but Simmons was a convicted sex offender who failed to register last year. Salinas police soon after got a $1 million arrest warrant, but his whereabouts were unknown until last month.
We had been looking for him actively to not only arrest him on the warrant, but also get a statement from him about what had happened preceding her death. We were unable to do that. We reached out to the U.S. Marshals Service once we kind of determined that he was not local anymore, and they began their investigation trying to track him down.
Simmons was arrested roughly 10 years ago, accused of attempted sexual assault at Hartnell College. He's been convicted of attempted murder and indecent exposure. Now he's accused of murder.
CBS North Carolina's Sheena Elzy digging deeper into the case, the delay, and what the victim's family has to say about it.
This is where it happened almost a year ago. Murder. A man shot and killed outside of one of these motel rooms with no signs of a shooter. She's never changed anything in the car.
I won't get rid of it, not right now.
Never took out his picture.
We'll try and move out, jump the back seat. That's his.
And never got room 340 out of her head for almost a year.
You could see that pillar right there by 340. He was laying right by there.
Pamela Blackshire's son, Calvin Blackshire, drove to that motel, to that room number, and was shot and killed that January day.
He wasn't a troublemaker or anything like that. That's why a gun shot to my son, you know, I don't understand that. Who would kill my child?
But she would never get an answer, and police would never make an arrest. In fact, police say it's the only unsolved murder this year that's still unsolved.
Why is this one taking so long to solve?
There's no real reason why it's unsolved. It's just detectives need new leads in this case.
Police say they did have one lead, a car leaving the motel that night, but even that went cold.
And it was determined that that car was not used in this crime at all.
So it's back to square one. Police asking for the public's help, just like his mom, Pamela Blackshire, looking for justice and closure.
We didn't get to say goodbye or anything.
Police have said what happened to him here stemmed from a robbery, but they're still asking if you or anyone you know have any information about what happened to him on that January day. In Fayetteville, Sheena Elzy, CBS North Carolina.
He is bold and cold-blooded. They say that he opened fire on these two victims right here behind me in front of a crowd of people. And tonight, they say that they're looking for the man who didn't even bother to disguise himself.
We're describing him as a cold-blooded killer.
He is the man you see in this video who police say casually walked up to two people outside of their hotel room and opened fire.
He didn't care if he was caught, if he was seen. He wasn't in the area with a mask or any type of disguise.
First time we're getting our first look at the victims. Police say Antonio Veal was killed after being shot in the chest, and Caitlin Payne was rushed to the hospital after a bullet pierced her back.
Knowing there were people in there.
Warrant for 33-year-old Bruce Anthony Macon. They describe him as armed, possibly dangerous. He's charged in a shooting at Gadsden Inn and Suites on Albert Raines Boulevard. Derek Scott Parham of Rainesville was
News in Greenville County, where the sheriff's office says that they're asking for the public's help during a deadly shooting investigation.
Investigators tell us the victim's body was found along Chalmers Road around 12:30 this morning. Right now, they're trying to figure out who did this. Fox Carolina's Alexa Rodriguez is live in Greenville County. Alexa, that scene is still very active behind you. Have you gotten any new updates since we last talked to you?
No, investigators are pretty busy right now. This call came in around 2:30, so just a few hours ago. We actually just saw an investigator come to that forensics truck, get something else out of the trunk. We also just a few minutes ago saw the medical examiner, another medical examiner vehicle pull up to the scene. So we are waiting for any updates right now. Very limited details. This is all happening at the Woodspring Suites in their back parking lot. It is an extended stay hotel off Chalmers Road. So if you're going down 85 and you get off the Malden Road exit, it's right around that area. Again, this was reported around 2:30 in the morning. The sheriff's office says they got a call that someone was lying in this parking lot. The sheriff's office did say that the victim has at least one gunshot wound and was dead on the scene. The sheriff's office said its violent crimes unit investigators are the ones out here. We do see some equipment being used in the back. It looks like they are taking part of the crime scene tape down now as well. But this shooting did happen in the parking lot. That's
today. Authorities in the Pitt County Detention Center say the cell extraction rescue team was called to escort Christopher Mitchell to court. They say that he was combative and refusing to leave his cell. Authorities say it took 30 minutes to get Mitchell from his cell into the courtroom. During that first appearance, the judge set Mitchell's bond at $2 million. Mitchell is accused of fatally strangling 48-year-old Carrie Ann Gordon on Labor Day. The Greenville Police Department was called to the in-town suites on Arlington Boulevard around 7 p.m. that day. After reviewing hotel security footage, detectives were able to pinpoint Mitchell as their suspect. They believe that the two had agreed to meet at the hotel before Gordon was killed.
It was her job to give people something to smile about, but the dental clinic where Cindy McCormick once worked is now filled with sadness. RCMP found her murdered in her hotel room Sunday afternoon at the Fairmont Chateau, Lake Louise.
I've been doing fillings for so long, I can even do them blindfolded.
Her sense of humor shines through in this promotional video for the clinic. Those lighter moments left in the past as family and friends wait for answers. McCormick and her partner, Robert Kane, were in Lake Louise for a dental conference. Shortly after McCormick's body was discovered, Kane was found dead in a vehicle on Emerald Lake Road, west of Lake Louise. His death is believed to be non-criminal, and RCMP are not looking for suspects in the case.
On the East Bay, Fremont police have arrested 3 people in connection with a deadly shooting that they say happened outside a hotel late last night. Happened around 11:30 last night, the Extended Stay America Hotel on Farwell Drive. Police say officers found a man just outside the hotel lobby suffering from a gunshot wound. He was taken to the hospital where he died from his injuries. Authorities believe the man and the shooters may have known each other. The identity of the man has not been released.
That couple tells me the victim managed to make his way from the hotel room where he was shot down to the lobby to alert staff that he was injured, all while holding and applying pressure to his wounds.
Blood on his hand, his arms, and his face. At that point, I went up and asked him what was going on, if he was okay. And it's when he told me he had been shot. And you could hear him gurgling like there was blood all in his lungs. It was really bad.
Witnesses say the victim was shot in a hotel room in this building before running down to the lobby to ask for help.
It happened in room 529 in building B.
Hotel staff called emergency services. Meanwhile, Chris and Amber Sellers tell me they applied pressure to the victim's wounds.
That's when you can see, like right here is where the bullet wound was. But right beside it, maybe that far, there was a stab wound too.